The reality of dating is that most men are playing a game they don't fully understand because they are focusing on the wrong scoreboard. You've been told that attraction is about the gym, the car, or the perfect opening line, but those things only get you through the front door. They don't keep you in the room. There's a hidden language of attraction that operates beneath the surface, and if you can't speak it, you will always be replaceable. You might see her smiling, you might see her laughing at your jokes, and you might even see her making eye contact, but none of that matters if there isn't a deep-seated emotional hook. Physical attraction is common. It's a dime a dozen. A woman can walk through a crowded room and find 100 men physically fine, but she will feel an actual emotional pull toward almost none of them. When you miss the signals of emotional attraction, you end up chasing shadows. You spend your energy trying to decode obvious flirting, like a touch on the arm or a hair flip, while ignoring the psychological shifts that actually indicate she is choosing you as her primary connection. Emotional attraction is the X factor that turns a casual acquaintance into a priority. It is the reason why she might ignore a guy who looks like a model to text a guy who makes her feel understood at 2 o'clock in the morning. This isn't about logic, it's about how her nervous system responds to your presence. While physical attraction can happen in a heartbeat and fade just as fast, emotional attraction is a slow burn fire that, once lit, is incredibly hard to put out. It changes the way she views you entirely. You stop being that guy I'm seeing and start being the standard she compares every other man to. The problem is that these signs are often invisible to the untrained eye because they don't look like attraction in the way we've been taught. They look like subtle behavioral leaks, automatic, unconscious shifts in how she interacts with your world. Most men ignore these signs because they are waiting for a neon sign that says, "I like you." But a woman's psychology doesn't work that way. Her heart speaks through her actions, her memory, and her level of comfort long before her lips ever say the words. If you don't know what to look for, you'll keep getting friend-zoned or wondering why things fizzled out just when they seem to be going well. Understanding this language is the difference between being a temporary distraction and a permanent fixture in her life. It's time to stop looking at the surface and start reading the deeper emotional script she's actually writing. Segment 1. The Memory Vault. To understand why a woman remembering the small things is a massive signal, you have to understand how the human brain actually works. According to cognitive neuroscience, our brains are not video cameras. They don't record everything we see and hear. Instead, the brain acts like a high-level filter that is ruthlessly efficient. It is constantly deleting junk data to save energy. This is why you can walk past the same neighbor for 5 years and still not remember their middle name. Yet, you can remember a specific compliment someone gave you a decade ago. The difference is emotional weight. The brain has a specific tagging system. If a piece of information doesn't make us feel something, the brain essentially throws it in the trash. But the moment an emotion is attached, whether it's excitement, curiosity, or attraction, the brain moves that information from short-term temporary storage into the long-term vault. When a woman remembers a tiny throwaway detail you mentioned 3 weeks ago, it is a biological leak of her feelings. If she brings up the fact that you don't like cilantro, or that your childhood dog was a beagle, or that you once mentioned having a stressful meeting on a random Tuesday, she isn't just being polite. Politeness is nodding while you speak. Emotional attraction is archiving the data. It means that while you were talking, her brain was operating on emotional overdrive. It was actively tagging your words as high priority and filing them away because you have become significant to her nervous system. She is showing you, without saying a word, that her internal world is now preoccupied with yours. In her mind, you are no longer just another person passing through. You have been moved into the category of emotionally important, and her memory is the undeniable proof of that shift. Segment 2. The Vulnerability Shift. There is a common myth among men that a woman who is attracted to you will always try to be her most perfect self. You expect her to stay charming, keep her makeup flawless, and only show you her happiest, most composed side. While that is true during the very first stages of dating, what we call the performance phase, it actually signals a lack of deep emotional attachment. Real long-term attraction only begins when that performance starts to crack. Researcher Brené Brown, the leading expert on human connection, discovered that intimacy is impossible without what she calls messy vulnerability. If a woman is only showing you her highlight reel, she is still keeping you at a distance. She is protecting herself because she hasn't fully invested her heart in the connection yet. The moment she starts showing you her unfiltered, unpolished, and even messy parts, everything changes. When she tells you she's having a bad day, vents about a deep-seated frustration at work, or lets you see her when she's stressed and exhausted, most men mistake this for her being difficult or too much. That is a massive error in judgment. In reality, she is handing you a badge of honor. She is showing you her fears and her struggles because she has decided, subconsciously, that you are the only man safe enough to handle her true self. She is intentionally dropping her guard and risking your judgment. By showing you the not-so-pretty parts of her life, she is testing the emotional bridge between you to see if it can hold her weight. This shift from perfect to real is the ultimate sign of trust. She is no longer trying to impress you. She is trying to connect with you, and that is where true emotional attachment lives. Segment 3. The low stakes. To understand the true depth of a woman's interest, you have to look at the interactions that seem like they don't matter at all. In the world of relationship psychology, Dr. John Gottman calls these bids for connection. A bid is any small, seemingly random gesture where one person reaches out to another just to see if they'll reach back. This is that moment when she sends you a meme with no caption, a link to a song she's listening to, or a quick photo of something weird she saw while walking down the street. On the surface, these look like low-effort messages. You might even think she's just bored. But if you look at the cognitive science behind it, something much more profound is happening. These aren't just messages, they are psychological leaks. They are proof that your identity has become woven into her daily emotional experience. Think about the mechanics of that moment. She experienced a spark of joy, a laugh, or a moment of wonder, and before she even consciously realized it, her brain redirected that energy toward you. You have become her default setting for emotional sharing. When she tags you in a post or sends you a video that reminded her of a conversation you had a week ago, she is telling you that you occupy a permanent, high-priority space in her mental real estate. These bids are often unscripted and non-strategic. They're the result of her subconscious mind linking her positive emotions to your presence. If she is reaching out without a specific agenda, meaning she isn't asking for a favor or coordinating a schedule, she is simply practicing being in sync with you. Every time she sends one of these little digital nods, she is checking to see if you are still there, still paying attention, and still part of her inner world. Segment 4. The most misunderstood signal. This next concept is the exact point where almost every man loses the game because he misinterprets biology as toxicity. I'm talking about the test. Most men think that when a woman pulls back, becomes briefly unavailable, or challenges his opinion, she is being difficult or playing games. But if you understand female psychology, you realize it's actually the opposite. She isn't testing you because she wants to push you away. She's testing you because she is starting to care so much that the emotional stakes have become terrifyingly high. She is effectively performing a stress test on the relationship. Evolutionarily and psychologically, a woman cannot afford to be wrong about the man she is becoming emotionally attached to. She needs to know with absolute certainty that if she lets her guard down completely, you won't crumble, react with hidden insecurity, or become emotionally volatile. As her feelings grow, her subconscious mind begins to ask, is this man actually as grounded as he seems? Is he a safe harbor for my emotions? Or will he turn into a storm the moment things get complicated? To find the answer, she might pull back her level of attention just to see if you'll panic and start chasing her out of desperation. She might share a controversial or edgy opinion to see if you'll fold and agree with her just to please her, or if you'll stay respectfully grounded in your own truth. She might even cancel a plan at the last minute. The men who fail these tests are the ones who react with passive aggression, coldness, or frantic anxiety. These reactions confirm her deepest fear, that you aren't strong enough to handle the weight of a real emotional connection. However, the man who stays calm, maintains his warmth, and doesn't lose his center passes the test without saying a word. By remaining unshakable, you communicate that you are a secure, high-value man. She isn't testing you because she's unsure about you. She's testing you because she's terrified of how much she actually likes you. Segment 5, Unconscious Synchronicity. When it comes to attraction, the body often speaks long before the mind even knows what's happening. You've probably heard of body language basics, but there is a much deeper phenomenon called mirroring that acts as a direct window into her subconscious. This isn't something she plans or practices, it is a biological syncing of two nervous systems. When a woman feels a deep emotional pull toward you, her brain's mirror neurons begin to fire in a way that replicates your own state. If you lean back, she leans back. If you speak more softly, her volume drops to match yours. It can go as deep as her unconsciously matching your breathing rhythm or your walking pace. This is her body's way of saying, I am safe with you, and I want to be in total alignment with you. It's the ultimate psychological green light because it is physically impossible to fake consistently. Her nervous system is literally trying to become one with yours. But beyond just mirroring your movements, you need to look for the guard drop. In the early stages of dating, most people are performing. They are carefully managing their image, sitting in flattering ways, and censoring their thoughts to seem more appealing. But when real emotional attraction takes hold, the performance stops. This is one of the most beautiful and overlooked signals a man can receive. You'll notice she starts laughing louder and more honestly. Not the polite, cute laugh she uses for strangers, but a deep, unfiltered laugh that she might even feel embarrassed by. She stops sitting in a way that looks photogenic and starts sitting in a way that is actually comfortable. She begins to share her weirder opinions, her nerdy obsessions, or her odd observations that she usually hides from the world. This unfiltered, raw version of her is a private gift reserved only for the man she trusts. If she's willing to be unpolished around you, it means you have successfully bypassed her external walls and entered her private emotional space. Segment 6, the sacred inner circle. In female social psychology, the inner circle is treated with an almost sacred level of protection. A woman's social world is built on deep layers of trust, and she acts as the gatekeeper to that world. This is why you should never overlook the moment she introduces you to the people who matter most to her. When she invites you to meet her best friend, or mentions you to her sister, she isn't just hanging out. She is performing an act of social integration. She is weaving your identity into the fabric of her life to see how you fit. For her, this is a massive risk. She is putting her reputation and her most valued relationships on the line. She wouldn't do this for a guy she only finds physically attractive. She does this for the man she is emotionally invested in, the one she wants her tribe to approve of because she's already started seeing a future where you're a permanent fixture. However, the inner circle isn't just about other people. It's about the landscape of her private inner world. When a woman starts sharing things that have no practical purpose, like a random childhood memory that surfaced, a dream she had last night, or a fear she's never quite been able to explain, she is reaching across the emotional gap between two people. She is handing you the keys to her internal vault and saying, "I want to be known by you." This is the peak of attachment forming. At this stage, attraction is no longer a game to be won or a series of moves to be made. It has transformed into a two-way dance of mutual trust. The secret that most men never learn is that the more you stop obsessing over, "Does she like me?" and start focusing on being a man who provides a safe, grounded space for her to be her true self, the more unbreakable the connection becomes. When she knows she can be fully seen by you and still be fully wanted, that is when emotional attraction turns into something permanent.